Good evening. We'll call to order this meeting of the City Council of the City of Gahanna for Monday, September 15th, 2025. If you would please join me to stand for the invocation and Pledge of Allegiance led by Vice President Trenton Weaver.
Thank you. As we gather, we acknowledge our responsibility to the future as we build upon the work of those who came before us. May reason and common sense guide our discussions, and may we remain undaunted by the challenges we face. Let us apply ourselves to find innovative solutions and make a positive, lasting contribution to our community. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Weaver. Mr. Van Meter, would you please call the roll?
Bowers.
Here.
Jones.
Here.
McGregor.
Here.
Padova.
Here.
Renner.
Here.
Schnetzer.
Here.
Weaver.
Here.
Thank you, Mr. Van Meter. We do have a couple of additions to the agenda this evening and a rearrangement of order. We have an additional presentation from Sue Villio with Adam H. regarding an upcoming levy, which will be item 3 on the presentations in section C of this evening's agenda. We'll also be switching the order of items 1 and 2, with the proclamation presentation by Mayor Jadwin being delivered first, and then followed by the swearing-in ceremony of our new Deputy Chief of Police. Are there any other additions or corrections?
Not for me, thank you.
Okay. All right. With that, then, we'll move right into the proclamation presentation by Mayor Jadwin.
Thank you very much, Madam President. September is Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. This is something we have done every year. I've done every year since 2020. It's an issue near and dear to my heart, having had family members who've gone through this as well. It is a time to honor the courage of children and families impacted by pediatric cancer and to raise awareness of the urgent need for better treatments and increased research funding. Each year, over 17,000 children are diagnosed with cancer. 47 children a day across the nation are diagnosed with cancer. It remains the leading cause of disease-related death in children, and yet funding and treatment options continue to lag far behind adult cancers. Over the last 20 years, only 6 drugs, 6 in 20 years, 6 drugs have been approved by the FDA to treat childhood cancers. It is a disease that attacks randomly, it attacks without discrimination, without rhyme or reason, and it is a disease that impacts families across the nation, including families right here in Gahanna. Tonight, we are recognizing one of Gahanna's own families, the Daubenmeyer family, whose daughter, Hannah, they're here with us tonight, now in the 5th grade at High Point Elementary, was diagnosed with cancer last year. Hannah faced her treatment with remarkable bravery, and we are grateful that she is on the road to recovery. Led by their journey, the Daubenmeyers, Julie and Andy, and Sister Lucy's back there as well, have become strong advocates for awareness and research, seeking to use their own experience to help ensure that in the future, children like Hannah will have access to more effective treatments and gentler treatments. Their commitment and strength are truly inspirational and reflect the resilience of families across the country facing similar battles. On behalf of the City of Gahanna, it is my privilege to honor Hannah and the Daubenmeyer family and to once again proudly recognize September as Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. Daubenmeyers, I'd love to meet you down there. Council, would you like to join for a picture?
Mayor Jadman, council members, residents of Gahanna, we really appreciate the opportunity to represent the more than 500 children in Ohio each year who are diagnosed with cancer. It was around this time last year that Hannah was diagnosed with osteosarcoma, which is a rare form of bone cancer. We thought it was a running injury, and scans showed it was actually a tumor growing between her knee and tibia. What Mayor Jadwin said was right. The treatment for childhood cancer lags very far behind adult cancers. In fact, if I would have been diagnosed with osteosarcoma when I was a kid, I would have the exact same treatment and chemo regimen that Hannah went through, which included 9 months of chemo. She also had a limb reconstruction surgery where she has a knee and tibia implant. But we're so thankful. She's doing great. She rang the bell to finish treatment in April. She's finishing, continuing chemotherapy and other things, but she's doing great. And she was very happy to return to school this year to rejoin 5th grade at High Point Elementary. And also, I want to recognize my older daughter, Lucy, who was in 7th grade last year, now is in 8th grade, but she was just a super champion for her sister throughout the journey. So thank you for your support of childhood cancer families and for everything you do on behalf of the residents of Gahanna.
Yeah, okay, yeah, okay. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mayor Jadwin, and thank you and congratulations to the Dobenmeyer family. And we wish you continued success and health and a fantastic school year ahead. With that, we'll move on to item B this evening, the swearing in of our new Deputy Chief of Police.
This is an exciting evening for us. We have not one, but two. We're doing a BOGO tonight in terms of swearing in for our Division of Police. I just want to take a moment and thank Council for your continued support. Obviously, public safety is a top priority for us. Unless we have a safe community, businesses don't come, residents don't live here, visitors don't come to visit. Public safety remains, always will be, and the utmost priority for us. So this is an exciting evening for us because we get to add a brand new officer and get to recognize a longtime officer who's now taking that next step in his career. So I'm going to turn this over to Director Becker to kick us off.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor and Council. Again, thank you for continued support. We really appreciate it. About a year ago, Chief and Miranda and I proposed this expansion of Deputy Chief, and it's coming to fruition tonight, and it's great growth for our agency. We're putting a tremendous leader, advancing his career, creating upward opportunities for everybody else in the agency, and we're really excited about that. But what we're going to start off with is what we're most excited about is we're adding to our officer rank, because at the end of the day, officer truly is the most important rank we have. They're the ones going on every call, and we need them out there protecting us. And this officer joined us from Las Vegas Metro Police, where his dad is a captain. So he's a legacy officer out there, and we got him to move all the way to Gahanna. I asked him, how in the world from Vegas did you find Gahanna? I think it was something about Deputy Chief Lawless appeal. He heard about that? Maybe it was just, there's really good things going on in Gahanna, and that word's getting out far and near. We had an officer from Nashville last year. We've had several officers from within Ohio, another one today that you'll be meeting soon. And we're really excited. The great stuff, the great support, that word is out, and it makes us very appealing amongst other agencies that are similarly situated, fighting for scarce resources. So with that, Bryson Williams, please come forward, and the mayor will administer the oath of office.
Before we do this, I want to share that when he first came here, and it was raining on the roof, and he heard the noise, and he said, "What's that?" We said, "It's rain," and he said, "What's that?"
Wait till snow hits.
Please raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Bryson Williams,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution and laws
the Constitution and laws
of the United States of America,
of the United States of America,
the Constitution and statutes
the Constitution and statutes
of the State of Ohio,
of the State of Ohio,
and the Charter and ordinances
and the Charter and ordinances
of the City of Gahanna,
of the City of Gahanna,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
honestly,
honestly,
and impartially
and impartially
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of police officer for the Gahanna Division of Police,
as police officer of the Gahanna Division of Police,
to which I have been appointed.
to which I have been appointed.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
If anybody here wants to ride along with him on the first snow,
I was thinking driving in the snow.
So next, we're going to bring up Ethan Moffett, and the mayor's going to administer the oath of Deputy Chief.
I know Director Becker's going to make a few comments later, so I'm going to take a moment and offer mine now. It's truly an honor to be here this evening as we mark a very special moment in the life and career of one of Gahanna's finest public servants. The promotion of, this is the last time, Lieutenant Ethan Moffett to Deputy Chief is a well-earned and well-deserved step in a remarkable career that has spanned 31 years, 27 of those years spent in service to the city of Gahanna. I've had the privilege of knowing and working with Deputy Chief Moffett for close to 25 years. He was a baby bike patrol officer, I told him. I still have a picture of him in his little bike patrol outfit. It was for the festival. Throughout his career, he's been a model of integrity, professionalism, and commitment, not just to the badge, but to every person behind every call, to every community interaction, and to every officer with whom he's served. Whether he's been patrolling the streets, arranging for event coverage, leading a team, or mentoring the next generation of officers, he has shown what it truly means to serve with honor. His leadership is rooted in deep understanding of this Gahanna community, and a steadfast belief in safety, accountability, and compassion are his focus. As mayor and on behalf of the entire city, I want to thank you, I'm now coining you DC2, for your service, your example, and your commitment to leading with purpose and integrity. We are proud of you, we're grateful for you, and we look forward to everything that you will bring to this new role as Deputy Chief for the Gahanna Division of Police. Now please, join me here. Raise your right hand, repeat after me.
I, Ethan Moffett,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution and laws
the Constitution and laws
of the United States of America,
of the United States of America,
the Constitution and statutes
the Constitution and statutes
of the State of Ohio,
of the State of Ohio,
and the Charter and ordinances
and the Charter and ordinances
of the City of Gahanna,
of the City of Gahanna,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
honestly,
honestly,
and impartially
and impartially
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of Deputy Chief
of Deputy Chief
for the Gahanna Division of Police,
for the Gahanna Division of Police,
to which I have been appointed.
to which I've been appointed.
So help me God.
So help me God.
It is my honor. Congratulations.
Pinning the Deputy Chief's badge tonight, our daughters Cassidy and Emily. Before we start, Cassidy is going to be 13 on Wednesday. Can we give her a collective happy birthday a little early? Welcome to teenage years. So, Chief Spence, if you want to assist with the badge pinning and get your dad all pinned up. Also supporting Deputy Chief Moffett tonight is his mother, Hulda, father, Michael, brother, John, and wife, Tricia. Retired Gahanna police officer, Kelly, and close friend, Troy Harris. As the mayor said, Ethan's been with us for a long time. He started out on the far west side of Columbus, and he graduated from Westland High School. I was a Columbus police officer in the area of Columbus that surrounded that high school in the early 90s when he was graduating high school, and I never met him back then, which is a good sign. He went on to become a Franklin County deputy, and he left working in the jail to join us here. Since he's been here, he's done a lot of great things. And what he's most proud of, I asked, one was the longest pursuit in the Gahanna police history, according to him,
I
which
take credit for it.
went to the London exit. And to me, that's my everyday commute when I come to work. So I don't think that's really that far. But he wanted me to point out that he chased a stolen taxi. And for Bryson and the other young people, a taxi is what a rideshare is now. So, a previous Uber. But he's situated himself for this position by getting a college education, by going to the Northwestern School of Police Staff and Command, by becoming a certified law enforcement executive through the state, and a lot of just nuts and bolts work to make this transition successful. He's received numerous awards. I'm not going to go through them all, but he's had a very decorated career, and we can expect that to continue. Other than the longest pursuit, he's very proud to be involved with the Creekside Festival, where he met the mayor many years ago, and been able to help other communities in times of need, specifically Whitehall and Westerville, after they've lost officers. I asked him who was the most remarkable on, who led the most meaning to his career. And he wanted to mention his first FTO, Carl. So thank you for guiding him. Dean Blamer, you seem to be a common theme. You've been a mentor to many people around here. Thanks for embracing him right from the start. Deputy Chief Lawless, for allowing him to do his job the way he thought it should be done and offering him guidance if it was going to go off rails. My expectation is you do the same thing for Lieutenant Cohagen, who will now be under your command, and Chief Spence, who he's worked with throughout his career, especially when Chief was a lieutenant, and helped guide him and pave a path forward. So we're very proud of Ethan. We're very grateful for the whole team to come out tonight and support, and thankful for everybody in this room for their continued support. Ethan, you have any comments you want to make?
Yeah, I want to thank the mayor, the director, the chief, DC Lawless for your faith in me. It's a privilege, it's an honor. I want to thank all the division members that are here. You do all the hard work. You make it easy to be in my spot. And I'll commit to you that I'm going to come in every day and endeavor to be the type of deputy chief that you all deserve. I just also want to thank our community council. We can't do what we do without your support. And, there may be disagreements from time to time, but we're all united in making this a safer and better Gahanna. And for that, I'm grateful, and thank you for your continuing support. Thank you.
Chief Spence.
Well, without sounding redundant, I don't think I can beat the mayor, the director, or even Ethan's words. What I will say is, as your career wanes, and believe me, mine is at some point going to come to an end. I think it's important that we set the department up for what the future looks like. And of the 30-plus years I've been in Gahanna, I don't think it's brighter than it is today. With everything that we've got, a great workforce, solid leadership. We've got 825 opening, which really opens a lot of doors for us that never in my career were open. And what I would say is the future is bright and the ship is in good hands. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you so much, and congratulations to Officer Williams and to DC Moffett. I think one of the most striking things about Lieutenant Moffett, now DC Moffett, and Chief Spence has been your unwavering willingness to educate council members and members of the public about the work that you do and about the resources that you need. And by doing that, I think that that has helped allow us to make good decisions on behalf of the community because you are educating us in the process. And so with that, I thank you and ask that we continue that process where we learn from each other and you enable us to help make good decisions on behalf of the community. So thank you. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. With that, we will welcome our representative from Adam H. to speak with us about the upcoming levy. Welcome, and I apologize if I mispronounced your name earlier.
Did I turn that on?
Should be on. Hold it close. That's what I'm doing. Not to let the computer go to sleep.
Okay. Thank you.
Which one? Both of them?
Good evening, Council President Bowers, Mayor Jadwin, council members and guests. Thank you for this opportunity to talk to you tonight on behalf of the Alcohol, Drug, and Mental Health Board of Franklin County. Adam H. Investments serve as the behavioral health safety net for the community, ensuring vital mental health and addiction services are accessible for Franklin County residents. While most Adam H. funded services support people who are under or uninsured, our investments in crisis and prevention services reach a larger portion of the community. Adam H. funded 24/7 crisis services are available to all residents, and Adam H. funded mental health and addiction prevention services are provided in all 16 public school districts in Franklin County. More than 75% of Adam H. funds are generated by a single property tax levy, which is expiring in December 2026. The landscape has become more challenging, and there is a rising tide of need, including uncertainty about Medicaid and other state and federal funding streams. The prevalence of mental illness and substance use disorders was escalating prior to the pandemic. The trend has only accelerated since the pandemic. 1 in 4 adults in Franklin County will struggle with mental illness this year. This statistic is not abstract. This could be your neighbor, your colleague, your friend, your child's teacher, or a member of your family. In addition, our suicide and overdose rates reveal a stark need. Franklin County's suicide rates are increasing for teens, older adults, and males. And while overdose rates are slightly down from the peak in 2020, they are still at historic highs, exceeding the state and national averages. While Franklin County continues to grow, it also means more residents will require Adam H. funded services over the next decade. This levy offers a degree of certainty in an uncertain time, generating a local funding stream to maintain our behavioral health safety net. This November is our first and best opportunity to seek support from voters. The 0.5 mil increase amount is relatively modest in proportion of collected property taxes in Franklin County, but the impact is great. The increase amounts to $1.46 per month increase for each $100,000 valuation of home valuation. This proposed levy renewal with an increase balances the need to sustain existing services in our community and fund the crisis center with the least amount of burden to taxpayers. Failure of passage means significant reduction to behavioral health services across the county. Franklin County has a proud history of ensuring accessible, affordable behavioral health care for all, regardless of ability to pay. Support for this Adam H. levy is fundamental. It is a fundamental investment in our local community safety net. It provides tangible benefits to public safety, schools, hospitals, social service partners, and most importantly, it profoundly helps families. These levy funds ensure individuals with behavioral health challenges receive appropriate care, are stabilized in the community, and ultimately live more productive and healthy lives. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions from my colleagues? Yes, Ms. Jones.
Yes, not a question, but I know that there was a like an info sheet shared. If you wouldn't mind, if Jeremy doesn't have it already, just sharing it with him so that we can attach it to the record and the rest of council.
I'd be very happy to. Thank you.
Excellent, thank you.
Well, thank you so much for your time, and I anticipate that we will have your contact information. I think we already have your contact information in order to reach out with any questions.
Wonderful.
And is there a website where people can go to learn more about the levy?
They can go to the Adam H. of Franklin County website, yes.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. And thank you so much to Councilwoman Jones for making this connection and inviting Adam H. to join us this evening. So thank you for being here.
Thank you.
All right. We'll move on to Section D of this evening's agenda, hearing of visitors. I have one speaker slip this evening from Patricia Kovacs. Ms. Kovacs, if you could please approach the podium, state your name and address, and you'll have 3 minutes for your remarks.
Hi, my name is Patricia Kovacs. I live at 527 Haversham Drive in Gahanna. And was that all you had to do? Yeah. So I'm here, Gahanna Council members, Mayor and Ms. Tamala Larison. I'd like to express my opposition to the ordinance requesting the city to repay the loan for the properties purchased by the CIC on Mill Street and High Street. I attended last week's council meeting and was unaware which properties were included in the request. During the meeting, I was under the impression that all 12 properties would be demolished because it was stated that the Ohio Department of Development grant was for 12 properties, and that grant was for $500K. I was surprised to see that the Harry Bauer home, 120 North High Street, was slated for demolition. I'm an admirer of Harry Bauer, our eccentric, brilliant engineer and bicycle mechanic who touched so many young Gahanna men's lives. I did not realize that the Brookwood Construction had vacated the Bauer home. We were told during the meeting last week that all these properties are blighted and vacant. We may think that the 50s, 70s era's buildings are not much to look at, but I don't consider them blighted, except according to the CIC members that were here, the Champooch location. One night last week, I looked into the front and back doors of the old Bauer home using my phone flashlight. The inside of the home is beautiful with oak trim, oak pillars, and wood floors throughout. Subsequently, I looked at the outside of the house and carriage house in the light of day and do see some damage to the buildings, including a broken window and a section of soffit that is missing. The roofs of both appear to need replacement, but do not appear to be letting water in. I looked up all the properties on the Franklin County Auditor's website because the CIC discussions on property purchasing is done in executive session. I guess I'm trying to say I feel like we don't always know what's going on. In most of the cases, the price paid for them was near the auditor's appraised value, but in the case of the Bauer home, the value was $323K, but it was bought for $625. Why the difference in cost? I presume that Brookwood Construction did not want to leave the property and that it had invested that additional money into restoring the home when they bought it. So they held out to recoup the expenses of their improvements and the cost of their move to New Albany. I also looked at the meeting minutes of the CIC and found out that the Department of Development grant to demolish, I may be mistaken, but the grant is for 12 properties, and only one of them was in Gahanna, for 135 to 169 Mill Street, which the total grant was $6.9 million, so I assume each property got about $500,000. Does the grant cover just the west side of properties between Champooch and the fitness center, or does it include the east side properties between Walnut and then I have to end? So can I do like one last thing?
It's been, unfortunately, it's been our policy that we haven't extended the speaker, but we have all received a copy of the letter, and so I think we are all familiar with the additional questions that you've raised, so thank you.
Would you be able to answer those questions for me today?
We have this item on the agenda for discussion, and I
Okay,
anticipate that many of these questions are going to be asked and answered by Mr. Green and Mayor Jadwin.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. All right, if there's no other speaker slips this evening and no other speakers, then we will move on to the consent agenda, item E of this evening's agenda. We have two ordinances that require second reading before we move to adopt them. Mr. Van Meter, would you please read the ordinances identified under subsection E3?
Ordinance 0037-2025, an ordinance amending ordinance number 0027-2025 to correct the address for Center Point Church from 670 McCutcheon Road to 620 McCutcheon Road, substituting Exhibit B with a corrected Exhibit B and declaring this action to be a correction for the record. Ordinance 0038-2025, an ordinance authorizing supplemental appropriations, general fund, and OCJS grant fund.
Thank you, Mr. Van Meter. With that, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda as published?
So moved, Madam President.
I have a first by Mr. Schnetzer, second by Mr. Renner. Any discussion this evening? All right. Hearing none, Mr. Van Meter, would you please call the roll?
Schnetzer?
Yes.
Renner?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
McGregor?
Yes.
Padova?
Yes.
Weaver?
Yes.
Bowers?
Yes. The motion carries and the consent agenda is adopted as published. Section F, ordinances for introduction and first reading. Mr. Van Meter, would you please read ordinance 39 into the record?
Ordinance 0039-2025, an ordinance to authorize the mayor to enter into a temporary construction easement with Columbia Gas of Ohio, Inc.
Thank you, Mr. Van Meter. Section G, ordinances for introduction, waiver, and adoption. Would you please, Mr. Van Meter, would you please read ordinance 40 into the record?
Ordinance 0040-2025, an ordinance authorizing supplemental appropriations and waiving second reading, general fund development contract services for the Gahanna Community Improvement Corporation.
All right, thank you, Mr. Van Meter. Is there a first to adopt, is there a motion to suspend council rules and waive second reading for ordinance 0040-2025?
So moved.
I have a first by Mr. Schnetzer
Second.
and a second by Mr. Renner. Is there any discussion on the motion to suspend council rules and waive second reading on this ordinance? Hearing none, Mr. Van Meter, would you please call the roll?
Schnetzer?
Yes.
Renner?
Yes.
McGregor?
No.
Padova?
Yes.
Weaver?
Yes.
Bowers?
No.
Jones?
Yes.
Motion carries 5-2. I'm sorry, for waiver? Yes, yeah. The motion carries with a vote of 5-2, and the second reading is waived on this ordinance. Is there a motion to adopt ordinance 0040-2025?
Yes. So moved.
I have a first by Mr. Schnetzer.
So moved.
I have a second by Mr. Renner.
It's contagious.
It's okay. We're all a little glitchy tonight. All right, with that, let's begin discussion on this item. Should we turn this over to the administration for additional presentation? I think there were some follow-up questions, or would you like us to direct questions specifically?
I think if you could direct questions specifically, I think that would be helpful. Mr. Green is here. Director Gaki is out of town at an economic development conference. So Mr. Green, who's been, as we all know, very active in this project for quite a while now, is filling in for him tonight.
All right, thank you. Thank you. Welcome, Mr. Green.
Thank you.
Mr. Weaver.
Thank you, President Bowers, and thank you, Mr. Green, for being here in the absence of Director Gaki. Appreciate you giving your time and continued service to the city. Last week, there was some questions surrounding which properties specifically that the CIC owns were, one, going to be, where the mortgage was going to be discharged as a result of the potential council action, but also, two, which properties were going to be directly impacted by this potential grant and would be demolished, understanding that there may be additional actions coming forward at a future date, but for this evening's consideration.
Sure. Do you have this map? I don't know. Do they have this map?
Yes, Jeremy.
Do you want to put it up, Jeremy?
Thank you.
Well, that's really easy to read. Okay, so the properties that are listed on here are all the properties that the CIC owns that are part of the collateral, the mortgage for the loan that the CIC holds with Heartland Bank. Those are all the properties, kind of if you see, they're all in maroon. Those are the properties that the CIC holds title to. And you know, these were, I mean, you all know this was part of the Creekside plan. This was part of the implementation plan to really, to have economic development revitalization in the area and really, you know, move that area, continue to move that area along and have more activity there. The properties that are in green, oh, I'm sorry, actually, let's go to the properties that are in yellow. The properties that are in yellow, so the ones that are on the west side of Mill Street, are the properties that we received funding for from the Ohio Department of Development demolition grant. That was in the amount of, I believe, $389,000. The properties that are in green are the properties that we received a grant from the Ohio Department of Development Brownfield Remediation Grant. I believe that was in the amount of $108,000. There was a question about, I think the resident's question about about just the overall amount. We had to apply, the way that the Ohio Department of Development put these together, we had to apply through the Central Ohio CIC, we meaning the CIC in the city, had to apply through the Central Ohio CIC for these grants. So that's why it looked like a much larger request, but our request was for these properties. So you can see the properties at, the properties that are not part of that grant are the ones at 130 to 140 Mill Street, 0 High Street, which is actually the parking garage right behind, or parking lot connected to 130 to 140, which is the old Howard Johnson, and then the 120 North High Street and the 110 North High Street. Those are the properties that were also part of the collateral, but they're not part of we did not receive demolition funds for those properties. You know, it would be the goal, or we have to, by the end of the year, demolish the properties that are in yellow and green as part of the demolition, as part of the grants to receive those grants. And we risk losing those funds if we don't demolish those properties. So that's, you know, the urgency behind this request is related to that, because that's the collateral for the loan. That was a long-winded answer, but I hope I answered your question, Councilmember Weaver.
That's very helpful. Thank you. I'll defer to Mr. Schnitzer. I still have a few more, but
Well, you can feel free to finish, but I just want to touch on the last item.
that's why I'll happily defer to you.
Thank you so much, Madam President.
Yes, please.
Thank you, Mr. Green. So you touched on, I think, a lingering question, a remaining question from last week's committee discussion, which is, it goes back to the timing of this. The reason why the waiver was requested and the reason why this is time-sensitive is not only the fact that the loan is coming due at the end of the month, but also the fact that we risk losing these grant funds if the demolition, and I think I just heard you say, is not completed by the end of the year. Must it be started by the end of the year, or must it be finished by the end of the year? And that was the question from last week that I don't believe we got a
So
specific answer to.
So two things. One, the loan is going to come due by the end of the year. I just want to make that clear. So we have to, that is part of the discussion. But the second discussion is we have to have those, we have to spend the money by the end of the year. So that means that we have to spend the money, we have to demolish the buildings by the end of the year. So that, yeah, that is our, that's what we need to have done by the end of the year. We've requested an extension till later, but till February. But the challenge is that loan comes due at the end, and if those buildings are demolished, we don't have the collateral for that loan any longer.
Right, which is why we need to discharge the loan. I guess what I'm getting at here is if we start in, say, December 1st and it's not done until February, will we still have right to the grant?
Well, I believe we will. I think it's our goal to start demolition in November. We've been working with a contractor to get that done, and they believe that we'll have it done by the end of the year. So I think we should have that done.
If we could, in a follow-up, I'd like a little bit more certainty over the parameters of that particular grant.
I can say we have reached out. We've been seeking clarification on that from both COCIC as well as the ODOD, all these economic development letters, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, Ohio Department of Development.
Yeah, the way that the way the grant works, we have the Department of Development has told us that we need to spend the money, by the end of the year.
Yes.
And if you spend the money, that means you got to demolish and I don't mean to be pedantic, but we have to have them demolished by the end of the year in order to receive the grant funds. If we don't have them demolished by the end of the year, we risk losing that money. So that's the way the grant agreement reads. That's the way that everything we've heard from the Ohio Department of Development and from the Central Ohio CIC.
Okay. Thank you. You're welcome. That's all.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
And I guess following up on that, demolition can't begin, correct, while there is an outstanding, while the loans are outstanding on the properties, was my understanding from what Director Gaki was saying last week.
That is true. That is correct.
And I know there was some questions raised by the constituent about the possibility of extending the mortgage, and that was done, or extending the term, I should say, and that was done before, but cannot be done anymore. Is that correct?
That's also correct.
Would you be able to speak as to why the purchase price for one of the parcels might be higher than what the auditor's office might have it appraised at?
Sure.
Speak to that.
I happily, but.
No, Councilman Weaver, the market, whatever the market price is, what the market price is, right? So we were able to negotiate, we meaning the CIC, was able to negotiate for that for a higher price than what it was listed for on the auditor's website. That happens all the time. My house where I live is listed for lower than what I bought it for. So that is, I would say that's not unique, and that happens quite frequently.
Just a fun tidbit, the auditor's office typically appraises within 92 to 96% of market value. They got special permission in the last mass reappraisal from the state to go down as low as 90% of market value. But of course, property is worth what folks are willing to pay for it. I'm in a similar boat as you are in terms of my own home. I guess I would ask, certainly share the concerns about the historical value of particularly the Bauer House, and wondering, I don't want to get too ahead of things because I know that we're focused on the current grant application and the properties that are in yellow and green. But since the question was raised, what could be done in terms of any preservation efforts, maybe working with the Historical Society, whether that's just conserving parts of the property? What have you seen in your experience, or are you aware of any ongoing conversations? I'll leave that relatively broad and open-ended.
Go ahead, Mayor.
Since there were questions were raised last week, I know Director Gahanna and I and Rachel Zarek in our Economic Development Department are looking into whether or not the building could be moved, if that's a viability. Don't know the answer to that yet, but certainly willing to explore what options might exist, recognizing there's an emotional sentiment toward that building. I know that if we were not able to move it, if the building were to be demolished for redevelopment purposes, there's certainly other things that could be done with regard to salvaging pieces of that building, et cetera. So there are a variety of options that we can pursue and will continue to pursue. Again, this building is not one of the initial buildings to be demolished immediately. This would be a phase 2 project, so down the road. So we have time to figure that out.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Do you still want to do specific questions, or Madam President, would you like just me to get all my comments out of the way?
I think let's ask some questions first, and then we'll kind of go from there.
And I'm good at the moment, thank you.
Okay. Does anyone else have questions this evening? Okay. I guess I had a couple of questions, and can you perhaps speak to where we are in the grand scheme of a redevelopment strategy, where we are in terms of, we've talked, we've introduced the plaza concepts. We have clearly been talking about paying off the loan related to these parcels and the demolition of certain parcels that you've identified tonight. Could you speak to what this looks like at a bigger picture?
Sure. I mean, we've been in discussions with a developer about the project, about a mixed-use project for the, I'll call it the east and west side of Mill Street, those properties. Those discussions have been going on for some time. I would say, we are pretty, fairly well along with those, and those will become public here relatively soon. As we bring a development agreement to council to consider and to ask questions about and discuss. So, the goal and the hope is that there is significant movement there, and there's investment that's made here relatively soon, based on all the discussions we have and how it fits with everything that may go on there.
Yeah, just to follow up on that, so do you have a tentative date when a development agreement might come forward?
We do. I don't remember what it is.
But we're hoping within the next couple of weeks.
Okay, great.
I can't remember the date, but yeah, that's our goal.
And so the development agreement will be one step in a process of evaluating, or I guess, decision-making related to the next steps. Could you explain maybe who the other decision makers are, or what other decision points will be made along these processes?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have a lot of discussions as part of the development agreement, because that will, I will say that's the discussion about the financial aspects of the development. Then the development, like any development, it is properly zoned, but it'll have to come back through Planning Commission for their discussions and approval about putting a development here. And then there's all the permits, the engineering permits, building permits, all those kind of things that will have to go on for that. And all along the way, there'll be public comments and public, there'll be the ability for the public to have their input into the process and have their input into the project. So that is, that we'll talk about the development agreement. We'll hopefully come to an agreement of that. Then the developer will have to come back to the city and get all the approvals to actually do the development. That obviously we know is a process that we know well, and we'll, as I said, we'll have a lot of public input. That's what I was looking for, not public comment. Public input into the process, but that will come after the development agreement happens.
Would us satisfying the loan, would the city satisfying the loan cede our participation in any decision-making related to these parcels? So-
I missed one word. What did you say? Would it feed? Is that what you said?
Cede. Would
Oh,
we,
cede.
would we give up our ability to weigh in or to participate in decision-making by virtue of the CIC fully controlling the parcels?
No, I think it actually gives you more control because the CIC is a component unit of the city, and you by you having full control, full ownership of those, you have more control over what happens there.
Yeah, if I can jump in, I think I don't want to confuse, right? Because there's two tracks. There's this issue that's before us tonight, which is simply paying off the loan so that we can demolish the projects, demolish the properties that are up there in green and yellow. And the CIC has full control of those, take advantage of the grant opportunity and be able to pay off the loan by the end of the year per the bank's request. Then there's a separate track that may or may not happen, because this is issue number one. Issue number two is there going to be a private development on these parcels down the road? Maybe, yes, but that's a whole nother project, separate and distinct from what tonight is.
Correct.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think where I was headed, though, was this idea of if council votes to allocate this funding, do we somehow lose the ability to participate in the discussion? And you guys have clearly answered that this evening.
Not at all, not at all.
Right. More specifically, I guess I wanted to come back to timeline on demolition. Is there, the administration asked for waiver, which would have truncated this process by approximately 4 weeks. Is there a clear or a definitive timeline? Is there an identified company that's going to be demolishing the properties so that we can understand what the need is for waiver?
There's potentially two companies. So,
yeah, I mean, go ahead.
if I could, the part of the problem is September has a fifth Monday, which further extends us out as to when, if we were to do a waiver, we wouldn't be voting on this until mid-October, by the time it actually came back to council. So in order for us to have this secured, to then get back to the bank, to have that transfer happen, to then engage the contractor so that we can go forward with the demolition, that extra time was needed.
Okay. So I apologize. Do we have a timeline? I appreciate your answer, Mayor, but is there a particular period of time, October, November, December, when we know that we should expect to see work being performed on the parcels identified in yellow and green?
I mean, we believe that the goal would be that the demolition will occur in November and December. And the reason I say that it'll be November and December is all the things the mayor just talked about. If you all agree to this ordinance, then we'll have to work out everything, with the bank to make sure that obligation no longer exists. Then we have to work with the contractors to make sure that we can meet their timing. We have to get a demolition permit, do all those kind of things so that by November we can start the demolition.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying that. Are there any other questions this evening?
Can I-
Yes.
So according to this, we have the Quonset hut building on the west side, the Shampooch building, the house behind the Quonset hut building, the old EMH&T building on the corner, and the plant library spot. Those are the ones scheduled for
Yes,
demolition.
demolition, to be demolished. There you go.
Okay, so, all right.
Yes. So it's all the, that's.
But the old Howard Johnson part is not.
It's not part of the, it will need to be demolished eventually. There are 2 tenants in that building right now. It was not part of the original demolition application. I don't believe it could have been eligible for the second application because it doesn't have asbestos in it. But
30 to 140.
so it would be our goal for that building to be demolished. But there is a new I keep hitting the thing, I'm sorry. There is another round of funding through the Ohio Department of Development that will become available soon. So it is our goal to apply for that building to get funds from the Ohio Department of Development as well.
And when you say demolished, you mean like pavement and everything will be gone, it'll be just dirt?
Yes, I believe that to be the case. You know, we'll have to get into that with the contractors, but we believe that that's, yes, there will be nothing, that it'll be, I mean, they'll be ready for another development to come in.
That's all.
Mrs. McGregor's questions triggered a follow-up.
Yes.
So in that subsequent round of grant applications, which parcels do you anticipate to be applying for demolition?
The 130 to 140 Mill Street and then the 0 High Street. Well, there's nothing on 0 High Street, but the 130 to 140 Mill Street, those would be the two.
Okay, so you do not plan to apply for demolition of 120 North High Street at this time?
I don't think so. I don't think
We haven't had that conversation.
we haven't had those discussions. It's not a high priority.
Yeah, from a timing standpoint, those parcels are not crucial. It's the other parcels along Mill Street.
Correct.
All right. Any other questions? We have a procedural matter that we do need to address. Unfortunately, the legislative powers section of the charter addresses motions to suspend council rules and waive second reading.
Correct.
City Attorney Tim Larson.
Pursuant to Section 4.12 of the Charter, if all members of council are present, it does require a 6 vote to suspend the rules, so a 5-2 vote would fail.
Okay. Based on the information that's been shared and the questions that have been answered tonight, I would be willing to entertain a motion to reconsider the motion to waive, suspend council.
So
rules.
as a point of procedure, a motion to reconsider a vote must be made by somebody who voted on the prevailing side of the issue. So in this situation, the only folks that could make a motion to reconsider would be President Bowers or Councilmember McGregor.
So, and I don't believe I'm able to make the motion
No, wait.
myself.
The prevailing side.
The prevailing side, correct. So the motion failed, so the prevailing side or the noes.
Okay. So as a courtesy, I would request that Mrs. McGregor, first my request to make a motion to reconsider the motion to suspend council rules and waive second reading.
So moved.
Thank you, Mrs. McGregor. Is there a second?
Second.
I have a second by Mr. Renner. All right. Any discussion on the motion to reconsider? I'll just thank Mrs. McGregor for the courtesy. Mr. Van Meter, would you please call the roll?
McGregor,
No.
Renner,
Yes.
Padova,
Yes.
Schnetzer,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Bowers,
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
All right. The motion to reconsider carries, and so we would then need to entertain a motion to suspend council rules and waive second reading. Is there a first?
So moved, Madam President.
I have a first by Mr. Schnetzer,
Second.
a second by Mr. Renner. Any discussion, any further discussion this evening? I just want to thank Mr. Green and Mayor Jadwin for coming forward and providing additional information that helps us understand the request for waiver, I think, more thoroughly, and allows me to be participatory in this conversation since I was absent at last committee meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Van Meter, would you please call the roll?
Schnetzer,
Yes.
Renner,
Yes.
Padova,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Bowers,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
McGregor.
No.
All right. With 6 votes, the motion to suspend rules does carry, and second reading is waived. There is still the motion on the floor on the underlying ordinance, and at this time, I would open up, to comments from my colleagues, if they'd like to make comments on this ordinance. Mr. Schnetzer.
Thank you, Madam President. I'll just reiterate, the line of conversation that we had a week ago, where I had asked Director Gotke, what's the alternative? And on one hand, we have the ask, which is the transfer of funds, which would discharge the mortgage, would allow the community or the city to continue to control these properties and continue to seek remarketing opportunities down the road. On the complete opposite end of the spectrum is to to back away and ultimately let the default process take place, which ultimately is likely to include the banks disposing of those properties to any number of parties and the city losing control of it. I did ask, is there somewhere in between those two polarities? And he had said, well, you could theoretically have a developer come in and purchase the properties. And then I asked, is that likely to happen in the next 2 weeks? And he said no. So in light of that, it sounds like the ask that is on the table is the appropriate course of action.
Thank you, Mr. Schnetzer. Further comments? Mr. Weaver.
Thank you, Madam President. First, I would echo the comments made by Mr. Schnetzer. Want to thank Mr. Green and the administration for several comprehensive conversations. I want to just take a step back, just because I do recognize that it is a big ask, right? It's a big dollar amount, and that is weighty. And I think it's important to remember that CICs are creatures of state statute. They help serve as economic development tools of municipalities. And ultimately, at the end of the day, the action that council takes right now, I believe, is an investment in the future of the community and what we might want that future to look like. And to Mr. Schnetzer's point, gives the city a greater voice and greater power in that conversation, unlike if the CIC were to default. We would lose a tool from our tool chest, but also lose that voice and that power. I would also add that it was touched upon, but there were many more points in the process before there is a completed product down at Creekside. Planning Commission, final development plan, all sorts of different steps in the process. There are still negotiations happening, which is why some of this has happened in executive session. And so in fairness to the applicants, in fairness to potential partners to the city, that is the case. So I think I'll leave it with, I encourage our colleagues and our neighbors on the CIC to work with the Historical Society and any other appropriate partners to preserve the bits of history that can be preserved. I want to separate that the 120 North High property is not part of this grant, but just because it has been brought up, encourage the CIC to work with the Historical Society in a way that they can to preserve what can be. And I think that'll be it for me. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Mr. Weaver. Mrs. Padova?
I just want to just state, I know that this is a big ask. This is a large amount of money. And it is not a vote that I think any of us are taking lightly. But I do support this project. It is an investment into an area of our city that needs it. This should be it is the heart of our downtown, and I long for the day where it is a thriving district. And I believe that this gets us one step closer to doing that. So thank you for everyone who has worked on this.
Thank you, Mrs. Padova. Mrs. McGregor?
Thank you. As people have said before, this is a big ask, and not so happy to be in this position, but do see the value of keeping control with the city of these properties. So while I'm not happy being in this position, I can see the value of it.
Thank you, Mrs. McGregor. Anything further? I'll just wrap up by sharing that I very much appreciated the discussion that happened at last week's, or 2 weeks ago committee meeting, last week's committee meeting. Sorry, I'm a little jet lagged. And I wanted to, I think, thank Mrs. McGregor as well for bringing up her concerns and some of the history and why there's some trepidation here. We don't have crystal balls. We're doing the best that we can with professionals that are assisting us in making decisions while maintaining a certain degree of skepticism and asking a lot of questions along the way. I think the thing that, I very much, again, appreciate Mrs. McGregor's comments this evening. When this was brought to us for the CIC to acquire these parcels, I believe that it was framed in a much more optimistic light, that these parcels were going to be utilized much more quickly, and I recognize that there were many intervening factors. Interest rates rose and have not come down, and other factors as well. And so we have, to a certain degree, had to weather the market, and that is unfortunately the position that we're in. I also appreciate the comments that were raised about some of the parcels or perhaps purchase prices being higher than what's reflected in the auditor's valuation. That was also, I think, a surprise that I wish hadn't been a surprise, that there was some purchases that were over market value, as was shared with the school board. And so now it doesn't change the situation that we're in, and it might not have even changed the original decision, right? Because that still might be the right thing for us to do, would have been to acquire these parcels. I think what I've learned, though, from this process, and what I hope that we all take forward, and future council members also take forward, is to make sure that we're asking about worst case scenarios, right? Not just that we think that the developers are going to buy up the parcels and develop within a year, but that we're being trained to be thinking about what would happen if that doesn't come through, right? And so here we are, and had we known maybe that the risk was the city coming to the table to satisfy these mortgages, we again still might have made the same decisions, but I think it would have been with eyes much wider, much more open. So those are the only comments that I have with regard to this. I think my colleagues have otherwise stated well the position that we're in, and a healthy dose of optimism for the future as well, which I share. So with that, I'll ask Mr. Van Meter to call the roll.
Schnetzer?
Yes.
Renner?
Yes.
McGregor?
Yes.
Padova?
Yes.
Weaver?
Yes.
Bowers?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
All right, motion carries and the ordinance is adopted. Next section, correspondence and actions. Mr. Van Meter, do you have any items for us this evening?
Nothing this evening.
And do my council colleagues have anything this evening? No? Hearing none, we'll move on to section I, representatives, and we'll start with the CIC report from Councilman Renner and Councilwoman Padova.
I'll yield to Keely.
So the CIC meeting originally scheduled for tomorrow morning has been canceled, and we are still figuring out a date for the new proposed time.
It's been scheduled for September 24th in the morning. You should have gotten an email invite last week.
I did not.
We can make sure that is resent to you. I apologize if it did not make its way to you, but yes, September 24th of next week due to Mr. Gaki being out at the conference this week.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, because I didn't get the notice either.
I know, I've seen the email, so okay. We'll figure it out. We'll figure out what's going on.
Thank you.
All right, so September 24th for the next CIC meeting. Yes.
Sorry, can you say the time for that?
I believe it's 7:30. But since we'll be resending the invite, we'll make sure we have it correct.
Anything further?
That's all.
All right, Mid-Ohio Regional Planning Commission, Mr. Weaver.
Thank you, Madam President. Thanks as always to Council Office for their assistance in the preparation of the report. The Commission did meet on September the 11th, 2025, which was the first meeting featuring our own Mayor Jadwin in her new role as Secretary of the Executive Committee. Once again, congratulations to Mayor Jadwin on that front. Couple items from the report that I would like to highlight. First, we've linked MORPC's legislative monthly report in the MORPC report, so you can click through and go there. Lots. Now that the state legislature has returned, they are undertaking a couple of different things. A lot of focus on congressional redistricting, some possible new legislation that would regulate metropolitan planning organizations akin to MORPC. Or including MORPC, I should say. Of course, property tax reform is on the minds of many, including myself in my day job. Governor also has his working group that's considering property tax reforms. Whether the state legislature is willing to consider anything the governor recommends is an entirely different question. That's all I'll say about that. MORPC also began its Regional Economic Development Academy, and in case folks have looked at this, they are offering, you can take the courses as a one-off rather than the whole series. I know that we have some continuing ed funding available in the council budget, so if that is of interest, I would encourage my colleagues to avail themselves of that. And then last thing I would highlight, of course, is the Summit on Sustainability. This is our last regular meeting, I believe, before the summit, and would encourage folks. It's probably too late, Mr. Clerk, to let you know if there's any seats available.
We do have one seat.
One seat available. Yeah. So always great. And I learned at our commission meeting that the mayor will be a featured Pechacucha speaker.
That's the rumor.
Which, if you have not attended the Summit on Sustainability, what is it? Is it 20 slides with 20 seconds a slide?
That's what they said.
You and I both share the, I guess, the blessing and a curse of being verbose, so keep it tight, Mayor. But encourage folks to attend if they have not. And then I believe Money Mondays have come back now that the summer is wrapped up. So keep an eye on your inbox for those opportunities as well. And that will conclude my MORPC report for this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Weaver. Convention and Visitors Bureau, Councilwoman Padova.
Thank you. Visit Gahanna is providing music by Joey and Jessica at the last Gahanna Market of the season, which is next Wednesday. The market is from 4 to 7, and the music will be going on from 5 to 7. The CVB is also continuing to plan the Holiday Lights celebration and is now accepting food, activity, and retail vendors for the Holiday Lights celebration. And there are also still sponsorships available, so contact Visit Gahanna if you are interested in any of those. And this is not something that the CVB is technically doing, but just helping to promote the Vietnam Traveling Memorial Wall that will be coming to Gahanna October 2nd through the 6th. And we also want to help get the word out that volunteers are needed over the 5 days that it will be here in Gahanna. So if you would like to serve as a volunteer, you can visit GahannaVets.org and sign up there. And that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Padova. School Board Liaison, Councilwoman Jones.
Thanks. At the September 4th Board of Education workshop meeting, the district shared updates on year 2 of its strategic plan. And so there was a couple things that I just wanted to highlight for colleagues in the community. First being the district is looking at a career pathways audit to ensure that graduates are ready for college, apprenticeships, or jobs right here in Gahanna and beyond. So keeping in mind workforce development conversations we've had as a district and even as a city. There will also be a new classroom pilot exploring AI in the classroom, so we are keeping learning and teaching on the cutting edge. On the staff side, the district is improving onboarding and mentorship to retain teachers and are developing a talent review and succession planning process. So that will be really instrumental as we continue to have needs for teachers and staff within our district. The Business Advisory Council is also making a return. So this is going to focus on looking at externship and pre-apprenticeship opportunities, connecting students with local employers. The last piece of the strategic plan, or another, hot topic in the strategic plan, is of course the opening of the high school. So there are plans underway for the community to be able to experience the new high school and the old high school. So information is forthcoming. There are a few meetings this week. Tomorrow, September 16th, yes, tomorrow, is the Finance and Facilities Committee meeting at 6:30 Clark Hall, and then a regular board meeting this Thursday, September 18th, also 6:30 at Clark Hall. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Jones. All right, with that, we will turn to official reports. Mayor Jadwin.
Thank you very much. Once again, congratulations to our new Deputy Chief, as well as our new officer, Bryson Williams. Today's promotion and the swearing in of Officer Bryson reflect further investment in public safety. We all know that. But what it also does is it ensures that we are creating professional growth opportunity for our team members. It helps to strengthen the leadership team within the Division of Police, creates eventual succession planning. We always have to be building that bench. I know Deputy Chief Moffitt, I have to get used to saying that, Deputy Chief Moffitt, will do a phenomenal job, but he has excellent leaders in both DC, Jeff Lawless, Director Becker, and obviously Chief Spence. And this result from today, this promotion, this whole process, Director Vollmer must be mentioned as well, because that is a heavy lift to go through the promotional process that needs to happen to fill those positions. It is really the team working together to make that happen, and it's council supporting those efforts as well. So thank you again. Director Becker said it was a year ago where we were talking about the second DC position and how, adding it to the budget and how we thought that would be received and work within the budget and our other requests, which we have those conversations almost all year long. So again, thank you to council for your support. Thank you as well to the many people who helped to make the 2025 Creekside Hops and Vines event yet another success. From the member of the Parks and Recs Foundation to the vendors, and there were many, the restaurants, the volunteers, the attendees. I think there were close to 1,000 of them. It was yet another memorable event. As we know, those funds help to support camps, aquatics, recreational programming. They support community events and other initiatives of the Parks and Recreation Department. Always a phenomenal event and the biggest fundraiser for the foundation. Perfect weather night for that event as well. The Buckeye game, I think, was kind of over by the time it really started, so it was good. Didn't compete with that, but well done to the Parks and Recs Foundation folks and our own Department of Parks and Recreation. We are on the third phase of public engagement. I'll say it one more time for our Gahanna. That continues to be underway. We've had a number of road shows, one at the library, one at the YMCA. We had one at the senior center. We've had great engagement with our residents and receiving feedback from them. The next and final in-person opportunity to provide feedback on the draft of the strategic plan is this Saturday at Touch a Truck. Our team will be there. That event runs from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Headley Park. But if you are not able to attend or if trucks aren't your thing and you haven't had a chance to provide feedback yet, there is the online survey, which will run through this Saturday as well. Simply go to ourgahanna.com on the header page, click Take the Survey, and you will have an opportunity to comment on the draft of the strategic plan. The Buckeyes have a bye week, so if you're looking to fill your time, it's a great thing to do instead of watching Buckeye football. Again, that runs this Saturday, and it is important. This is the opportunity for our community to have their voice heard as we shape the future. When we have conversations like we did tonight around Creekside, this is where those conversations emanate from. So please invite everybody to participate. And speaking of Creekside, another reminder, next Wednesday, the 24th, we will have a community conversation about the future of Creekside, following up on the plaza conversations, as well as some of what we potentially discussed tonight. That event runs from 7 to 8:30 p.m. at the Creekside Conference and Event Center down at Creekside, the third floor above Cold Stone Creamery. Again, that evening will be a continuation of the plaza project that Director Schultz shared a few weeks ago, sharing concepts of what could be done with the plaza as we work on the flood mitigation work that needs to be done there, but things that can be done to improve the overall use, accessibility, and environment of the Creekside Plaza area. A few upcoming events. I mentioned Touch a Truck Saturday from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. The Gahanna Market next Wednesday was mentioned from 4 to 7, and then Creekside Reimagined from 7 to 8:30 p.m. The Mill Street Market, which follows then a week from Sunday, 9/28 from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. And I do believe this Sunday is the market at North and High, previously known as Creekside Boutique Hop, but that event runs in the afternoon on Sunday. And I also believe Young Chefs Academy is celebrating their 1-year anniversary with their new owners. That also event runs from 1 to 4 p.m. They're inviting the community to come in as part of that. For more details, we do have a calendar of event. Just scroll down on the homepage, gahanna.gov, and you can click on dates and find all kind of information. The last thing I want to comment on, and I suspect some of my colleagues sitting up here will want to do so as well. It's been a week. It's been a week. Across the country, tensions are running high for a variety of reasons that we don't need to talk about. But we've seen deep divisions play out in headlines, in communities, and online. And at times, these divisions have spilled over into hostility and even violence. It's difficult and it's often disheartening. And it happened on the anniversary week of September 11th happening as well, which reminds us of where we have been as a country and where we are today. That here in Gahanna, we have a choice to respond differently, treating one another with kindness. And it is not a weakness, it's a strength. It's how we lead together, even when we come from different perspectives. And I would say the vote this evening was reflective of that. So I'll express my thanks to Councilwoman McGregor as well. I was sitting here thinking, and this is how it works. This is how civil discourse is supposed to work. So let's continue to build the kind of discourse that we want to see more of, not less of. And let's show that in our city we rise above division and we still get things done with respect and with compassion and with purpose. So thank you to everybody for the conversation this evening, and I look forward to continuing our work together.
Thank you, Mayor Jadwin. City Attorney Tamala Larison.
Yes, thank you. Since the last council meeting, when we passed the resolution authorizing me to join the Purdue Direct Settlement, I did complete the paperwork in order to finalize our enrollment in that opioid settlement. I did have an opportunity to gather some statistics about opioid-related incidents in Gahanna, and I can share that, in 2024, there were 18 calls for overdose service calls, and there were at least 8 opioid-related deaths in our zip code in 2024. This year, we had about 11 calls thus far for service for overdoses, and at least 2 that are related to opioid deaths. And so this is a real significant issue that we can be addressing in a different way with purpose in Gahanna. And so I intend to be continuing to work with Mayor Jadwin on areas where we can use these settlement funds and make an impact in this area. And in a less somber note, I did disseminate council rules to everybody for review and further discussion that will be coming to a committee meeting in October. So there's plenty of time. If there's any thoughts or questions you had about those, please feel free to directly reach out to me. Thank you.
Thank you, City Attorney Tamala Larison. All right, with that, I believe we are at council comment this evening, and we will start with Mrs. McGregor.
Okay, thank you. Just wanted to reiterate about the Vietnam Wall that would be the traveling Vietnam Wall that will be here the first weekend in October. And that wall, the commitment is that there will be a volunteer there 24 hours a day. So if you work the second shift and you come home and you think like I could do 4 hours sitting by the Vietnam Wall, that would be a possibility. I know Jim and I said we'd do an overnight shift. So there's lots of opportunities. There's other opportunities to help people find the names they're looking for on the wall. So there's a great deal of opportunities to volunteer to help that process the first weekend of October. Mill Street Market again, September 28th, 9 to 4 for the Historical Society. We have over 100 booths so far. And one thing I don't think I've mentioned before with the Historical Society, there's a red history book for the Gahanna Historical Society, and it was published in 1976. So we have had almost 50 years of history that has happened since the Gahanna history book. So there's a group of people, Jim Schnell is an author. I don't know if he lives in Gahanna, but he grew up here in Gahanna, and he is helping us come up with topics and people to write about the different portions of the book that we're going to have. We have a big list, and so people kind of signed up for parts of the book, so we're hoping to get it all together, maybe this year, hopefully by next year. And again, congratulate Officer Williams and Deputy Chief Moffett. I knew him as Officer Moffett, then Sergeant Moffett, then Lieutenant Moffett. So it's nice to see the promotion tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. McGregor. Councilwoman Jones.
Thank you. I have my constituent report that is attached to the agenda for the past couple of months. And just wanted to point out that after a summer off from constituent hours, I am back with my next commission, oh my goodness, Monday brain. Constituent hour, Monday, September 29th, so I just can't enjoy a Monday evening off. Gotta pack it up, but 6 o'clock at the library. And I think that's all I have this evening, so thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Jones. Councilwoman Padova.
Thank you. Thank you to all of my colleagues and also the mayor for the joint resolution and proclamation recognizing Good Neighbor Day here in Gahanna. That, as I said last week, was inspired. I was inspired by Daniel Tiger and Mr. Rogers, and found out that this was actually an actual national holiday. Made a holiday by President Jimmy Carter, and really thought that have realized that kids are a natural way to meet your neighbors. And with that, am partnering with the library on September 27th at 11 a.m. story time. They will have some coloring sheets and also a little craft that you can bring the little ones and have them color a little picture, make a little craft, and deliver it to your neighbors to either meet a new neighbor, check in on a neighbor you know, or maybe even go down the street a little bit to meet someone new. That also is Good Neighbor Day is also the same day as Mill Street Market, which is also a great way to go and meet some people in the community. The ultimate goal with this resolution, again, is to meet neighbors and build community. I wanted to share this quote from Jimmy Carter when he issued the proclamation in 1978. As our nation struggles to build friendship among the peoples of this world, we are mindful that the noblest human concern is concern for others. Understanding, love, and respect build cohesive families and communities. The same bonds cement our nation and the nations of the world. For most of us, this sense of community is nurtured and expressed in our neighborhoods, where we give each other an opportunity to share and feel part of a larger family. And in that same vein, I respectfully ask for you to extend this kindness not only on Neighbor Day and every day, but also with your social media, on the internet, before you press send. I know I've shared this quote before by Brene Brown, and I'll probably share it again at some point. It is one of my favorites. She sums up that social media is fire. It can be used to keep the barn warm or to burn it down. So before you press send or post, try to remember that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs.
Yes, I too want to thank and and congratulate Officer Williams. It's really nice to have another officer in our line. Director, it's very impressive that you went all the way to Las Vegas to actually bring somebody here to little bitty Gahanna. So, but thank you for that. And also my sincere congratulations and deep congratulations to Ethan Moffitt, who now Deputy Chief. I too knew him, Mayor. You and I were together when he was a bicycle officer, and he part of the community policing program, and just a phenomenal guy. And he would actually stop into the area restaurants. At that time, Gahanna had a Panera, if you remember. And he would stop on there, and my grandmother and parents were playing cards always there, and he would stop in and say hey, and break it up, about joking about gambling and all that kind of stuff. But it was actually that community feel that Ethan always emanated. I have never known really another outstanding officer like, I think you said it best, McGregor, where you said it's officer, sergeant, lieutenant, and now Deputy Chief. This is fantastic to actually see the growth. Switching gears a little bit, I want to sincerely thank Councilwoman Padova for the resolution today, this evening, about National Good Neighbor Day. I thought it was actually very apropos back then when we had our community discussion about it, committee of the whole, but how clairvoyant and pertinent to the activities that we saw that unfolded last week. So tonight, we recognize the National Good Neighbor Day on September 28th, and we reminded that respect for one another is the foundation of community. This comes at a deep, painful moment as our nation reels from another act of political violence. And it's in times, and I think, Councilwoman, you said this right, in times like these, empathy is not optional, it's essential. I was reminded today that the historian and philosopher Hannah Arendt warned the death of human empathy is one of the earliest and most telling signs of a culture about to fall into barbarism. And we are living in an age where a large part of our society distrusts facts and figures and even uses our technologies against ourselves. I'm reminded that the biologist Edward O. Wilson cautioned, the real problem with humanity is we have Paleolithic emotions, medieval institutions, and godlike technology. To me, these words challenge us to reflect on our condition, to ask whether we are capable of using our extraordinary tools and institutions in ways that can uplift rather than divide, heal rather than harm. So on this Good Neighbor Day, let us recommit to the simple but powerful acts that hold us together, introducing ourselves, lending a hand, showing kindness. Bring back the simple notions of human decency, please. Basic standards of right, respectful, fair behavior. Respect for each other is the first step toward resilience in our neighborhoods, our city, and our nation. Respect for each other is not just neighborly, it is what keeps us both, our community and our democracy, strong. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bender. Mr. Schnetzer.
Thank you, Madam President. I'll be very brief. Welcome aboard to Officer Williams. It's nice to see the new transfer authority working yet again. And congratulations to Deputy Chief Moffitt. I'm going to have to get used to like you, Madam Mayor, not calling him lieutenant. But next time I see him, I'm going to ask if the promotion comes with an extra 2 inches in his box jump, because it was impressive before.
It's impressive.
We'll see if it's gotten any better. So that's all from me.
Thank you, Mr. Schnetzer. Mr. Weaver.
Thank you, Madam President. First, let me add my congratulations to Officer Williams and now Deputy Chief Moffett. Well-deserved, and look forward to Deputy Chief's continued service and welcoming Officer Williams to the city of Gahanna. I want to extend my heartfelt thanks to the mayor for her proclamation this evening recognizing Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. I think I've shared before that unfortunately I never had the opportunity to meet my sister-in-law. She passed away at a young age when my wife was young after a long and hard-fought battle with a rare form of brain cancer. And knowing what that did to Aileen's family, I'll just say that whatever we can do to raise awareness, improve treatment, and find cures and better outcomes is a cause near and dear to my heart. So thank you, Madam Mayor. Enjoyed very much so volunteering at the Hops and Vines Festival. I think they must know that council members might not be the most useful volunteers, so they said, just go forth and mingle, and if anybody needs a bathroom break, go do that. And I was like, great, I can do that. So, and I needed a partner in crime to do it, so Ms. Badova and I had a blast checking in on other volunteers throughout the evening. But in all seriousness, a huge thank you to the foundation as well as our own Department of Parks and Rec for a wonderful evening and a tremendous cause. It was, as the mayor said, it was perfect weather for it, and everybody had been celebrating a great Buckeye victory and well into the evening. So thank you to all involved. I want to say thank you to my colleagues for the conversation on waiver as part of the council rules and charter. I know I generally tend to chafe when we waive a second reading, so I appreciated the healthy conversation around that and the reasonings behind it this evening as well. So thank you for that. And the last thing I'll say this evening, apart from my thanks to Mr. Renner, who very eloquently stated what I think many folks are feeling right now. And so I'll just say thank you, Mr. Renner. The last thing I will say this evening is thank the representative from Adam H. for being here this evening. There's a tool on the Franklin County Auditor's website that will be going live soon for the levy estimator, or called the levy estimator, that will show if you enter a parcel into the tool, it will tell you exactly what any potential levies on the ballot will mean to that parcel. So if you're sitting here going, what does $500,000 mean for me? And 100,000. Well, I think my house isn't worth 100,000. Well, so go to the levy estimator. It'll tell you exactly what it'll mean to your property tax bill. So that is all from me, Madam President.
Great. Thank you very much, Mr. Weaver. I wanted to make a brief remark that there is a joint resolution proclamation in the works for the Vietnam Veterans Traveling Wall. I hope that's not a surprise to the mayor.
It is, but it's a wonderful surprise.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I didn't.
That's all right.
I thought it had been shared and communicated at least briefly. So I do anticipate that would come forward at committee next week. And that we would adopt it on October 6th, which is the final day that the traveling wall would be here in Gahanna. We have not yet been able to finalize plans with the AFW, Foreign Legion Post, but we will be working with them to identify if we can do a ceremonial presentation of that resolution.
I think it's actually the American Legion.
American Legion. Thank you. I appreciate it.
It's confusing.
So I very much appreciate Mayor Jadwin and my colleagues' comments this evening reflecting on horrific events of last week. In addition to the very high-profile shooting, there was also 2 or 3, depending on how you count, school shootings across the U.S. And it's a shame that we have become so numb to all of this, that it takes something as horrific as what we saw last week and then the outrageous reactions then there to that. That really brings us back to the discussion about the scourge that is gun violence in America. And one of the takeaways from my brief trip abroad to the UK last week was that that's not an experience that exists in other parts of the world, that gun violence is not an accepted norm throughout other Western countries, and that this is a uniquely and disturbingly American experience that I do not want to accept, and I do not think any of us want to accept. I know that our first responders do not want to go into these scenes. I ask that we continue to pledge support for common sense gun laws, for common sense discussion around violence, around weapons, and that we continue to strive as a community to do better, to do so much better than what exists across this country and this state. We deserve better. We don't deserve to live in a world like this. 11 school shootings in 2025 across the US. We don't deserve that. Our children and our grandchildren do not deserve that. And so, yes, it is important for us to call each other into humanity, but part of calling each other into humanity means that we need to be thinking about policy that protects each other, protects our kids, protects our first responders. And what we're doing currently is not. It is inadequate. And I very much appreciate the comments about social media and technology tonight, because what we have seen has been that technology is contributing to all of this dehumanization. Whether it is in the deep web or it is on a Gahanna in the Know social media group, it is contributing to the dehumanizing of each other. And one of the things that I most appreciate about my 6 colleagues right here on council and my fellow elected officials and other folks here in the room this evening is that I don't think we've ever lost sight of the fact that we're each other's neighbors, that our kids go to school together, that we shop at the same grocery stores, and that we all care about this community. It's been one of the hardest parts of this job, that I don't feel that same level of dignity and humanity from everyone else in this community. And it's fueled by social media discourse. It was horrific to look at social media last week. I cried, I literally cried, because of how people were talking about each other online. How our president was talking about other Americans. It's outrageous. It's outrageous, and we can choose to be different. And I thank Councilwoman Padova for bringing forward the Good Neighbor Resolution, and I thank every single person in this room and every single person who works in this building, because I know that we are all working very hard to create community. Every event, every hire, every service project, every call. And I apologize, I know I'm going on a bit long tonight, and I will stop, but this is so important. And so tonight, I know our flags are all flying at half-mast, and I'm choosing to recognize that half-mast for all victims of gun violence, for all victims of school shootings, and for all of us for having to live in the current state where this has become commonplace. I mourn for all of us. Thank you to my colleagues for the indulgence this evening. I very much appreciate it. This concludes our council meeting.